Dear colleagues, let us introduce the results of research in which we determined the attitude of preschool education students to the implementation of innovations in professional activity. Our presentation includes the following options: substantiation of the scientific problem topicality, analysis of the recent publications on the problem, methodology of research of determining the attitude of preschool education students to the implementation of innovations in professional activity, presentation of the results of research, and discussion of the obtained results. Today, the issue of actualizing the purposeful training of teachers to implement innovative activities in educational institutions, as well as the development of appropriate professional competencies, has become acute. Innovative activity in preschool educational institutions is the fundamental basis for the whole education system and is the primary basis for the whole education system ensuring its quality in accordance with the social requirements of society. To be successful, preschool educational institution teachers must be prepared in accordance with modern requirements. In Ukraine, this process is regulated by approved orders of the relevant ministry, in particular one of them, Standard of Higher Education in Specialty Preschool Education for the second master's level of higher education, which came into force in 2020. This educational standard is aimed at obtaining by students three-component block of competencies, among which integrated competencies, general, special or professional competencies defined in accordance with the specialty. With respect to the suggested above, it is appropriate to find out in what ways students determine the tasks of implementation innovations in preschool education system and how it corresponds to the formation of their competencies outlined in the standard. Thus, we determined typicality of the raised problem, which mainly involves strengthening the effectiveness of teachers' training in the labor market, gave grounds to outline the following purpose of the study: finding out the essence of innovations in the professional activity of preschool teachers on the basis of the analysis of the scientific and source base, determination the attitude of students studying on specialty preschool education to implementation of innovations in professional activities on the basis of the developed questionnaire, generalization of the obtained results and outlining strong and weak points of this process. During the process of conducting the investigation, it was important to define the essence of the concepts of innovation and innovation activity. Thus, innovation is considered as a new product that improves the efficiency of the educational process, as it is based on the determination of specific system of indicators that correspond to the innovative development of society and reflect the individual's psychological qualities. Researchers interpret innovation activity as a process carried out at a sufficiently high level of professionalism and manifested in the ability of a specialist to evaluate new ideas objectively, in their readiness to master and creatively implement in their work everything new and progressive. Thus, innovation is a subjective category and its implementation should be considered in two areas: as a professional activity, which includes the readiness and motivation of teachers to it on the basis of acquired knowledge, skills, and innovative competence, and personal needs, in the implementation of the system of personal values and cultivation of relevant qualities as well. Therefore, the purpose of innovation is seen not only in the performance of professional functions by a preschool teacher, but in ensuring their personal growth and strengthening their own position as a competitive specialist in the labor market. While conducting the research, we defined that the intensification of innovation is significantly influenced by a range of factors, among which are external and internal ones. External factors include level of professional training, improving the material conditions of the educational institution, overcoming conservatism. Internal factors include motivation, creativity, and corporatism. These factors were taken into account during the empirical study, which will be discussed further. Educational process in preschool educational institutions should be carried out according to the formula implementation of innovations equals correspondence to the requirements of time and social demands plus vector of progress in the implementation of educational aims. To perform this formula, it's necessary to ensure the systematic growth of innovative skills of preschool teachers, inform them about the essence of innovation. Teachers' readiness for innovative activity is characterized by a range of developed personal skills, professional skills, which justify conscious implementation of personal innovations in the educational process of preschool educational institutions. The purpose of the empirical research was to determine the attitude of students studying on specialty preschool education to the implementation of innovations in professional activities. The main goal was to find out the attitude of students of specialty preschool education to the application of innovations in professional activity. Students of the second level of higher education, master's degree students of specialty preschool education from 2 Ukrainian state institutions of higher education, Hryhorii Skovoroda University in Pereiaslav and Bohdan Khmelnytsky National University in Cherkasy, were involved in the survey. The questionnaire provided response to 8 questions which were based on the educational standard, according to which formation of 3 types of students' competencies were defined. Second-year students who obtain master's degree on specialty preschool education of various modes of study were involved in conducting an empirical study thematic survey. This, in fact, determines their division into groups. First group, full-time students. Second group, dual-form students. Third group, part-time students who don't work on the specialty. And the last, fourth group, part-time students working on specialty. The total number of respondents was 159 students. Such conditional division of students into research groups is due to the fact that the experience of practical activity largely determines the individual's views on the performance of professional functions. Thus, we generalized data obtained from the survey and offered a figure. So, as it is presented in figure, the survey demonstrates some tendency regarding the essential importance of innovation and the implementation of innovative activities in the structure of specialty preschool education. Respondents' interpretation of the essence of innovative activity depends on the awareness of the specifics of the pedagogical functions of the teacher of preschool educational institution. Determination of innovation task was seen in the implementation of the tasks of modernization of preschool education at the present stage. Personal experience in the process of innovative activities implementation is clearly fixed by the mode of study of students of specialty preschool education. The latter is directly dependent on the production of the best patterns, the experience of innovations implementation by teachers of preschool educational institutions. The need to innovate as a mandatory component of professional growth should be provided with appropriate practical training of students. The factors that hinder the implementation of innovation activities are defined, which give grounds to outline the priority lines of professional training of future teachers of preschool educational institutions. It is established the way students of specialty preschool education characterize the image of a modern teacher of preschool educational institution capable to implement innovations. We state that the respondents of all research groups have chosen different options. However, the response of the students who were in the second dual mode of study and fourth groups were especially different. Representatives of these 2 research groups consciously perceive the necessity to apply innovative activities, understand its basic principles, which will directly influence both professional and personal growth. The explanation for this is that the students of these groups are are the subjects of the educational process in the preschool educational institutions themselves, performing professional duties, have deep theoretical knowledge and skills in relation to its organization and solving complex problems. Thus, according to the given above, we came to the following conclusions. On the basis of the source base handling the essence of innovations in professional activity of teachers of preschool educational institutions is defined. It is specified that innovative activity raises professional level of a teacher and their personal growth. The essential content of innovations in the educational process of preschool educational institution was characterized, as well as the specific of training of students for their implementation. To determine the attitude of students studying on specialty preschool education to the implementation of innovations in professional activities, there was developed a questionnaire, Innovations in the Professional Activities of Preschool Education Teachers, What is it and what for? As a result of generalization of the obtained data, the attitude of students of the specialty preschool education to implementation of innovations in professional activity is given. The analysis demonstrated that response to the questionnaire and respondents' choice was mainly different from the existing experience of pedagogical activities in the system of preschool education, namely dependent on the mode of study. Students who made up second and fourth research groups, they were practicing educators, have personal experience of implementing innovations which mobilizes their internal resources and leads to improving the quality of preschool education. As for the students of the first and third research groups, they still lacked awareness of the essence of innovation, the necessity for pedagogical innovation, understanding of the social significance of modernization of education. In our opinion, topical is the study of the educational component innovation activity in preschool educational institutions, defined by educational professional program, which will help to raise the effectiveness of future specialist training. In general, our study to determine the attitude of students of 2 Ukrainian universities demonstrated positive results, which is an important indicator for their future career and personal growth. However, we currently consider the following issues to be debatable. Providing organizational and methodological base of the implementation of innovation activities in the process of teachers' training, choice of diagnostic tools to determine the levels of innovative activity of a preschool teacher. We consider prospects of further research will include adjustments to the first level of higher education in relation to the formation in accordance with the requirements of the standard of competences and development of appropriate tasks for their training during students' teaching practicum in preschool educational institutions. Implementation of the best examples of world preschool education for the professional training of future preschool teachers in the context of the introduction of innovations to the teaching process. Thank you for attention.